Circle.
Blue circle.
Why is blue circle?
Blue
They took the
circle.
blue circle for a week. Remember?
Huh?
I hated when they took the blue circle.
Yeah,
Without
they
the
took
blue
it out.
circle, I didn't know what I was
How
doing.
you forget that?
I
I'm
forgot. Often. I was like, oh my God, no blue circle. What
No
am I
blue
supposed to
circle.
do? Studio 586B Live. We're here.
Oh snap! We're here.
We're here. We're on again.
We're on again.
We're on again. We're off again. We were supposed to be on again yesterday afternoon, but we
Yeah,
didn't
but
make
we
it.
didn't have to
Yeah,
do
I
that.
know.
It's all right.
I
hate when girls say that. I'm on.
They don't shut the whole park down. Anyways, today we got Nef in studio. We're gonna do a little
Yup.
10Q stories,
Thank you.
right? We're gonna like just go boom, boom, boom,
Boom,
boom.
boom, boom. The gauntlet.
Well, there were some technical difficulties. We could not get any sound working for
It was
instance.
being annoying just to be annoying.
Yeah, it was. Man, it was being annoying just to be annoying. Man, I'm just got us out there. I don't even have our regular logo up, but I want to bring Nef in real quick and go, ah! Oh, I got to turn that part off. There we go. There he is. I see you. I see you. Ah! Where'd you run into Nef, Ross? Where'd you find our guest today?
So I was at an event.
An event?
Yeah, it was a comedy. It was a
So you were
comedy.
out trying to get laid.
Political event. Yeah, hey, didn't say I was trying to get laid. I kind of
You're
was. But I
19.
failed at that. I failed at that.
Okay, there we go. Now some honesty. That's what we need. We need a little honesty, a little straightforward. Okay, so you're at an event trying to get laid.
Yeah, there was a girl I couldn't say 2 words to. But anyways, I found Nef. He was doing some comedy. Up on the stage.
Some
and
stand up. Did you
Yeah,
have some stand up for him?
Some stand up.
Did you give him some stand up?
No.
No.
I know, because I don't. I try not to tell people jokes all the time, because I feel like people will get annoyed if you're always like, here, I got this joke, I got this joke. You want to hear this joke? This stand up, I got a stand up for you. Stand up for you.
Well, so maybe we just start the 10 questions.
Yeah, let's start the 10 questions. Where are you from?
Born in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Born and bred in Columbus,
Born
Ohio.
Yeah, me too.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Me not.
You not?
Me not.
Not?
Me not. I grew up back and forth though between Ohio and Michigan.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my memories are Ann Arbor is first place I can think of.
Uh-huh.
But then we went to Bucyrus, which is Ohio, and then we went to Escanaba, which is Upper Michigan,
Okay.
and then eventually by
So you
fourth,
went back and forth across the line a little bit.
a little bit. There was some hate. They're my favorite teams. Everybody here loves
Do
OSU.
you mess with OSU?
I mean, why?
Good question.
I even went there briefly, and I'm less attached than most of these people that are not in any way.
No, I mean, I watch the
So-
game. I watch the games for fun sometimes, but I'm not even caring that much.
I like a good game.
Yeah.
I like to
me
watch a
too.
good game.
Me
Well,
too.
for me,
But I'm not buying the merch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not getting in arguments.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not flipping cars.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, it was weird because down here they hate there. Up there they don't care. In Ann Arbor, they care about Michigan
The funny
State.
part is-
For those of you wondering, in Michigan there's a rivalry.
I had a teacher do a study. I had a teacher that did a
Right.
study. She was like, she went to a Michigan game in full OSU gear, and then she went to an Ohio State game in full Michigan gear, and she was like, Ohio fans are angry for no reason. Like
No, it's not no reason.
They're
Not
just
no reason.
pissed off.
I think
and
that
rude.
their love of college sports in this state has to do with the lack of viability of professional sports in this state.
No, because we beat every team, and then we get out of our conference and then lose or whatever.
So the weird thing is, growing up in Ann Arbor, I never even knew about OSU. Like, my first memories were married housing, and it was kids from all over the world, parents from all over the world. All of them cared about education. Because they'd given up everything in their life, wherever they were from, to be able to go to school.
Sure.
So we were all poor. But we were poor together.
Nice.
And everybody trusted the other parents, so we just ran wild. I mean, the best... Every memory of that part of Northwood 5 has to do with distance relative to could I not pee. I was 3 or 4. The funniest thing is the perspective on these memories, because So like there's a field that was back behind where we lived. That field was too big. If you realized on the other end of it that you needed to pee, and if you ran, you would pee before you got to the house. Because I hadn't figured out that don't run if you need to pee yet thing, that to do the walk thing that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm perplexed because I pee everywhere. I mean,
Yeah, there's some, I do now.
I have since I've sat here.
You know what? Depends is not just for old people. It's for lazy people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do the cheaper thing. After I finish a bottle of water, I strap the empty
You just
bottle
strap
to
the
it.
bottle.
Yeah, man.
So the question is, what is your first memory?
Yeah, before you figured out the bottle peeing, what'd you do?
My first memory?
What are your when you close your eyes and think about Little Nef, as he was known back in the day.
The earliest memory I have is living in an apartment my mom bought. They got me a goldfish. We came home and the motherfucker jumped out of the bowl, and it was dead on my floor.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
Oh
then,
my God,
yeah.
you caused a fish to commit suicide.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
My life has been about grieving people ever since. He was the first.
He was
the first.
Yeah. Or she, or they. We don't know.
It's a valid point. What are the preferred pronouns of fish? I prefer Jaws.
I prefer fried fish.
So you get home and you realize the goldfish has jumped out.
Yeah. It was traumatic looking back on it. And she flushed it down the toilet.
Any words to be said over the fish before the flush? Or
Nah. I was a little stunned, come to think of it. I feel like I'm in therapy right now. I should lay back on this couch.
You're more than, if you need, whatever makes you comfy. It's weird because we have a lot of fish in this house, and I'm raising a grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Part of having fish is there's fish that get flushed. We have reached the point where some fish you say words over, and some fish you didn't know that well.
Really?
Like if
There
Clyde
are
was
fish.
to go, we would all have a speech.
Oh
you know?
man,
We would all have
get together, tell a Clyde story.
We'd all have something to say.
Oh, Clyde's 3 years old. He's the parrot head cichlids in the studio. He's hiding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Clyde, come on out, bud. See, he's not. He's hanging back behind the rocks.
And my eulogy would be, Clyde was very antisocial with me.
He has anxiety. He has severe anxiety. So he's been through 4 massacres, tanks where everything died but him.
Really?
So
Put some Xanax in the water.
Right? Little Xannies get him going. He eats out of our hands. You don't put food in. You put your hand in. You hold the food. You put the food in, and he comes and you nibble. And that's since the last time he almost died. He's almost died a number of times.
Really?
I gave up on him last time. Moved him to another tank.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was dead for 3 weeks.
So Clyde's nickname is Joe Biden.
Right? He just keeps going. He just keeps
chugging.
going. No one's going to hold any of that stuff he said anytime.
Just keeps it pushing,
It's an interesting thing. You just got to get up and go.
He has, if he ever speaks, he'll have a stroke in the middle of his speech.
Oh my God, absolutely. It is weird. We do become just as attached to those other living things. Man, a goldfish will fuck you up.
Really?
It's that first time you realize life ain't permanent.
Yeah, that was the thing. And now I don't too much care for pets. But I had a dog. The only other animal I actually had to say was mine was a Doberman. Yeah, and he bit my daughter in the fucking face. I tried to knock him out. You can't knock out a dog. Well, I can't knock out a dog.
I don't think I could do it. Yeah, I try. The closest I'll get is I'll smack the dogs if they start biting me, or if they start biting my clothes and stuff.
13-week-old puppies. These are
But
not dogs, for the record.
I can't put hands on it. I can't do that. It feels wrong. I start feeling like
My
Michael
daughter
Vick,
had a cut on her face, bleeding, and she cried. That fucked me up.
Right. You're like, what? Oh,
that'll
shit.
put you in a different mind state, though.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Well, and
That's extenuating circumstances.
as a parent, I'm like, and really I'm mad at the dog and I'm mad at me.
Right.
That's the worst. So I had a 180-pound Mastiff, full Mastiff. Nothing wrong with it. Thankfully, he chill. I was never worried he was going to bite anybody. But if he was doing something you didn't want, you literally had to tackle his ass. It's 108.
Sure.
It weighs the same as I do. You must step up like you're WWE in it and like, dun dun, I'm gonna suplex this motherfucker. I'm gonna get this dog to the ground.
It's a bear.
It's a bear.
Yeah.
I trust me. Does a bear shit in the woods? No, it shits in my backyard. I waited 5 years between his passing and getting the new puppies. I didn't want to clean up the backyard again.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
A lot of feces.
And you said Doberman, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. And he's, this one was like a purebred too. So he was like smart. He needed to like get out and like build things. He was like, you couldn't just keep him in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
They have things going on.
Yeah.
So that's why when you think of Clyde, or whether you think of that dog or my dog, they got stuff going on in their heads. You know that we just got this parrot, and the parrot looked at me about cross-eyed. He's 22 years old. He's had a life. It's not like he hasn't had experiences.
Yeah.
We look at him and go, dude, you got stories, don't you?
He said hi to me. Well, he didn't say hi to me. He said hi, Bob, because his previous owner was named Bob.
Really?
So it scared the bejesus out of me because he had just told me about
I
their
love
eyes
that I got a
flicker.
bird that could carry
So
you
look,
off.
He had just told me their eyes flicker when they're when they're mad at you, right? So I go up to the bird. I'm like, "Hi, Crackers. How you doing?" Oh yeah, the bird's named Crackers.
Yeah,
I was outnumbered. We needed more crackers in the studio.
So I go say hi to the bird. I'm like, "Hi, Crackers," and his eye just starts flickering, and then I'm like, "Oh snap!" And then he says, "Hi, Bob," and I'm like, "What? You just terrified me. How am I supposed to respond to that?"
You could train that bird to like carry you to like work or something.
Probably.
There you
Probably.
go.
He's an eagle to you.
Yeah.
He's an eagle.
He's scared. I'm scared of that motherfucker.
He's a big bird.
He's a big bird, man.
I came in. I think I need security leaving here. Actually.
the macaw jumped Nef on the way out. Sorry, guys.
Walking past and he lifts one arm up like he's gonna left hook me. Like.
I was about 17, working at a pet store on Bryce Road here in Columbus, and so I spent time with a macaw like that. And Fred was
Macaw.
right. Fred was okay. They're so smart. Fred would get in trouble. Fred lived so he was out in amongst the customers, but he'd start. There were days he was just an asshole. He'd just fuck with people. So we had a cage in the back to put him in. But if you put him in the back, he would cry like a small child trapped in a cage in the back.
No way.
You'd have to go get customers and open the door and be like, "No, there's no children back here."
QAnon people thought Pizzagate came to Columbus.
Right? Oh, I'm telling you all day long. But I don't debate anymore how smart animals are. I just talk to them all like they're 3 or 4 year olds. Because I find most of them listen better than the average 3 or 4 year old.
Up there.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about that.
So the next question is, how do you work?
Well, the questions end up being kind of a Rorschach style. So a lot of the meaning ends up coming from you as opposed to from us. So
make it general.
Well, so when I think of this one, the word "how do I work?" It's been hard for me because I drove truck. I did very traditional kind of. You can go, okay, this is how this man is taking care of his family.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to start a nonprofit. $0, all heart, all I believe in what I'm doing. I've never made the call before in my life of this is bigger than me. What I'm doing is more important than me.
Sure. And
so for me, I fight with the how do I work. Because in our culture, the idea that I'm looking at people trying to raise money for a nonprofit, that sounds like begging to me.
Sure.
You know, that to some extent I'm like, oh, you want me to go beg people for money?
To some people, yeah.
Well, but
you got a good cause, though.
It's that I struggle with it. That, defining what work is. How do you work?
Well, I don't.
He says I don't. I tell some jokes.
Yeah, well, I don't make a living from telling jokes yet, but I was smart enough to not listen to the news in the Obama administration when the news was like, don't buy real estate. Real estate's fucked up. Da, 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 da.
Right,
like, bitch, a house is like $250.
It always goes in a circle.
So,
It always goes in a circle.
yeah,
Well, look right now.
Wait to, yeah, I bought a bunch of property in the Obama administration, so now I rent those places out, and I don't really have to work unless.
So slumlord / comedian.
No, man. Actually, most of my
houses have heat.
most of my houses have roofs. My tenants are basically homeless. Anyway.
So do you get a discount for no roof? No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. This is called open air. This is an open
called
air
open
floor
air.
plan.
I give out umbrellas.
Give out umbrellas and say good luck.
No, I got nice places, and then I rent rooms. I get more for renting rooms.
For individual, yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I do that for homeless people who have the wherewithal to at least sign up with agencies that
No, I get, yeah.
Because a lot of these homeless people here, or any place, have like income. Like they get Social Security and shit like that, but they just don't have the intellectual fortitude to call a landlord and fill out an application.
They need help getting the part done that
Yeah.
isn't inside their perspective.
Yeah. So so it's sort of noble.
No,
I get a couple people
I'm beyond. I think it's sort of noble. I think that is noble. I think he's a little more to Nef than we realize. I think Nef's doing a lot more than he gives himself credit
I've
for.
always wanted to do that, or figure out a way to do that, because I literally hate going through the hood and seeing people on the street and empty houses. That messes with my brain, to see that stuff.
I will point out again, no matter what country you are in, that in the United States, technically, we have more empty houses than homeless people.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's one of you're like, whoa, that math don't work. That sounds greed. That don't sound like.
Yeah, and it don't take a lot for a landlord or somebody who owns property to do the right thing about it.
Which you can actually speak on, that it wasn't as bad as some people might think as far as what the situation is.
I'm probably a very patient person, also, but it's not that big. Sometimes I get a call from a guy. He's like, "Something's wrong with the water," and he'll put the phone next to the shower head. Like, look. No FaceTime.
You know what? That could have gone worse. At least he's showing you the shower head. Listen, I get that I own the shower. That does not mean I want to be in the shower with you.
Not even on FaceTime. Just thinking I can hear what's wrong.
Hold on. I recognize it.
I got it.
I recognize
That's a Canuter valve. I'll be right there.
That's a Canuter. You know what? You need to come up with it. Actually, that happens all the time. If you just hit 3 times lightly with your fist underneath it, it'll adjust it. It may take a couple weeks, though, so don't expect it to work immediately.
Really?
3 weeks later, they're used to it. They don't even notice no more, man. You hit them up with some Fonzie shit, like, oh, man, if you just tap here. But it takes 3 weeks to work. I know you're not going to hear it right away, so you don't have to call. But if 3 weeks from now I'm still doing it, we'll have to try it again.
Don't call me with the craziest shit, man. Well, the day after George Floyd. Hold on. I pull up in the back of this. It's a double. I pull up in the back of the double. The door's open. 2 policemen come outside and shit. Like, I'm just getting out of my car. I'm like, what the fuck do I have in my hand? I drop everything. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Let me double check.
This guy calls the police because there was a water leak.
He called the police because there was a water leak?
Okay, here's the important question. Because I don't think that police can't help at all. I think that police can be a viable part of the community. So did they at least fix the water leak?
Nah, he was actually a good cop. Shout out to CPD, but yeah, it was crazy shit.
Well, we've run into that. Our community first started in the fact that we both dealt with some pretty severe depression and anxiety. Went and sought some help, and our friends started building fires with the idea that we needed more space where people could see each other. That the first thing you realize in rooms where people start talking is you're actually not alone. That all of a sudden there's a weight lifted just because you're not a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean humans go through this crap?
Right.
yeah, humans go through this shit, or there wouldn't be any comedy.
Yes,
If humans didn't go through shit, no comedy.
Yep, no comedy, no art, no nothing cool. Nothing cool
Right?
would happen.
None of the cool stuff would happen if there wasn't some shit. You gotta, like, yeah.
Thank God for shit.
Thank God for shit. Shit is where it all
Shit
appears
is where
from.
it's at.
That's the piece that, you know, if you put it out there, people go, oh, wow, I'm not alone. So we ended up, oddly, Ross and I are at a fire one day at this buddy's house. We get to talking. He's musically, you were talking about savants earlier, and this guy gets hooks like no 19-year-old should, and just has a natural, I don't want to, he'll get head all swole, but I don't want
I don't like my head swollen either.
Well, we got talking to music, and we got talking about the studio. None of this existed. None of this. This is this time exactly last year.
I walked in and he just had cool shit. That was it. It wasn't.
Speaking of cool shit,
there
this is
wasn't-
crazy. This is the best podcast room I've ever been in. This is crazy.
This is the room where I hid from the world. This is my cave.
I like it.
This is where I, like, so the funny thing is when I was at my most depressed, I curled up in a ball right where you're sitting
Really,
for months.
balls crawling into balls is healthy. Sometimes.
You know, you know what? I wouldn't have got here.
Yeah.
The reality is, so somehow we come up with, we think we can do this. He moves in August 25th-ish of last year,
Yeah.
and we start doing a podcast on January 10th of this year. This year, 2022. We're at 120, 130 episodes. We're at, so on this series, this is our stories series, where what we do is try and, I was telling you about that, we try and start rabbit holes.
Okay.
So we try to start conversations that are like, okay, I'm gonna have an interesting conversation with this person, and it's hopefully it should lead to more interesting conversations. Like we'll go off on the topic or something like that, and then hopefully we can build a conversation about that later. You know, that can be its own little thing.
That it draws,
Yeah.
the point is that you end up, over and over again, no matter how many times I've done this, how many times we've done this, I know that I always end up feeling a connection, and like what I've discovered is me. That like I find, like everybody tells a part of my story, but then they also tell their story. I find people in these questions, not you're this or you're that or you're the other thing, or it's just legitimate, whether I'm talking to somebody in Africa or Australia or Europe or Canada. They apologize a lot more. There's a lot more apologizing. I see me. I end up finding, oh wow, being human, trying to do human things, trying to figure out the same stuff. I've literally asked these questions to a 9-year-old. You know, we've been thinking about these answers since we were kids. How we work. We went to school, the things that drove us, the things that made us who we are, how we approached our world. And you know what? How we play.
Yeah. The next question is, how do you play?
Vaseline mostly.
You know what? At a medium stroke. At a medium stroke.
Nah, comedy is all I have really. It's almost when you said work, I immediately thought comedy, and when you say play, anything you're asking me revolves around that art for me, because life was really dark for me most of my life, so I had to, like, I guess, put on a mask, like we talked about before we started, and as I got a little financial freedom through real estate,
That's huge.
Started to dig into who I really am, and that speaks to finding yourself through conversations with other people. Accepting comedy is just you on stage, so you have to dig into yourself and find out who you are on your own. And that's why comics are sort of a moral compass for society, because we all have parallels, no matter what side of the tracks we come from. And as I unravel parts of myself on stage, people can connect with it.
People connect with it. That's so much that resonates so deeply relative to what we try to do here. That in exposing myself over and over again The more I expose myself, the more I
Herman.
find people expose themselves to me. It's working.
Mutual masturbation.
There's Clyde. Oh, he's gonna hide. Watch, he's gonna hide before you even
he's
look over.
hiding again.
He literally did a circle while you weren't looking. That is too. He totally knew what was up.
Yeah.
He totally pays
He's
attention.
not looking. I'm gonna sneak out.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. So, like, if you look to the left corner of the room, what you see is there's a cool little. There's a sign with the hot air balloon says "Enjoy the journey," but then it's got a Stanley, going off to work coffee cup. It's got one of those big ass, when girls used to play with jacks, they had that ball and the little metal things.
Yeah.
And then it's got a Buddha with his hands up in the
I
air.
play with Jacks.
Right?
I'm a man.
Work, play, pray. And over there, then I got Bilbo with the ring to remind you not to grasp the gold too hard. And the skeleton to remind you ain't getting out alive.
Nice.
That
All relative shit.
I think, and we run into people that regularly, that work, play, pray thing all rolls together. That it was sitting in, we were talking to a buddy named Calvin Hobbs, and we got to how do you pray, and he's talking to us. He goes, you know what? No, I'm trying. The point where I approach the divinity, whatever you call it, the universe, I'm not a big, hey, you need a religion or even a God. That there's this feeling there's something bigger and like we're connected. I don't know what physics tries to describe it too. I'm not judging which end of that. His prayer is his music. At the point where he's bringing out who he is and expressing his feelings about the world, touching in that part of him that's universe. And that's when this is my prayer. This is, now for me, literally, this is my prayer to end all suffering. This is I change the world by over and over going, have you met my friends? I know how exponentials work. If I just keep going like this long enough, I got this shit covered. It doesn't double. That's you've invested. You get the exponential thing and how that, that when I find what is my work, what is my play, what is my prayer, it's to see the people and the people to see each other.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
How do you pray?
Vaseline again.
Catholic.
No, I do a transcendental meditation.
Little TM.
Yeah.
I got you.
Without doing that, it's like self-harm for me. I have to do that twice a day. But I do, pray to. I do talk to God, whoever he or she or they is.
Okay. I will never argue as to whether or not there is or isn't a God. But what I'm saying, point blank, is if there is a God, wouldn't you make up your own pronoun if you were God? Wouldn't you be like,
No,
the she,
I'm
he,
God.
it?
Yeah,
Okay,
God
if
is my pronoun.
God is my pronoun.
Yeah, God is my pronoun, bitches. So God said, don't be he, but fuck you. Or you go the she, he, it, the shit, which doesn't, I'm God, I'm the shit.
I like that.
Yeah, I put God in everything I do, even when I was in the street pretty heavy as a kid.
For me, I think of God is in everything I do, no matter whether or not. That I like to think of it as, you know what, I'm not in control. And I don't mean that like, oh, God's in control. I mean, but the universe brings me chaos. The universe is going to direct me, and push me a direction I may not even think I'm going.
Yeah, or in a direction that is...
where you were supposed to be.
You're always sort of...
You're always where you're supposed to be. It was always your path.
Even when it's like so...
shit.
debilitating shit.
School.
Horrible shit.
It's like being in the worst class you've ever been in. Life is like that some days.
I'm supposed to be here. God dang it, this sucks.
My daughter committed suicide in front of me. I saw it. And I have a comic buddy who said that he said he didn't have a whole lot of sympathy for me because that was supposed to happen. And,
that's a little harsh.
It's harsh.
Yeah,
I could have some sympathy for you.
I mean, he does, but comics.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I'm with you.
We get to the gut, especially.
Have you ever
with each
seen
other.
have you ever seen the Unbookables?
No.
Oh, Doug Stanhope's The Unbookables is a documentary about 4 or 5 comics.
It's hard to watch but it's good at the same time because it's like
It's amazing.
you're watching comedians just go up there and like argue with the fucking audience because they're like, that's funny. That's funny. I don't know why you motherfuckers aren't laughing. That's funny.
There was a guy whose mom died of cancer, so part of his run was about why he was allowed to joke about cancer, that his mom had given him permission and all of that. And I won't even go how dark that is. You're worried over there.
Dark.
I will tell you that one of the guys who's passed away had CP. CP?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it was so brilliant. He did a whole thing on boy whores dying in tsunamis that's just amazing. You know, that was not how boy whores should die. You know, and he went through how boy whores were supposed to die. But he was a bit of a, you know, he believed that boy whores weren't supposed to go that way, though.
In a tsunami, yeah.
They don't deserve that. They don't deserve that.
It takes a particularly good writer to find humor in the darkest shit, but the darkest shit needs humor for healing.
Do you think, like when we look at those 3 questions, that's part of what comedy is for you? Is it's where you found the place to work that out?
Yeah, even though you may not hear a whole lot of material in my act about my daughter, the fact that I have to find an emotionally sound place to get on stage and bring joy to people when I don't necessarily have it requires that I heal. You know what I mean?
It requires that you feel comfortable enough to joke about it, so you have to some
not
extent.
even like joke about
yeah,
that.
to joke about anything. Yeah, to some extent you
yourself.
have to get over it.
Yeah, and during the day I'm in a dark place all day.
Right.
Right.
When it's time to get on stage, this is the only time life is worth living.
Well, I have a wise friend in Vietnam, of all places. We were talking about Vietnam earlier. That Violet Tran over and over again repeats, meditation is non-distraction. So anything is meditation if it's non-distraction. So literally part, in my head, of your meditation, you got to be focused on stage. You have to be able to find the space to be in that space, and that's your tea ceremony.
Yeah, it is.
That's your meditation. That I have to be present to do the show.
I can vouch for that because
Hours, maybe 2 before I go on stage, I kind of need solitude. I can't really watch anybody else's act. I don't really want to hang out for a second. I have this bubble.
Yeah.
Where I need to find this, I don't know what it is, but this zen. It's in me. You know what I mean?
You got to find you.
To be able to open that door for people.
Wow, that's, you know what? How many times have you heard that explanation, but about a different kind of art?
Yeah, I've heard it a couple times. It strikes me as, okay, in order to find yourself, you, to some extent, you have to look at yourself. You have to, you gotta pay attention to that shit. And what's going on is like, I don't even.
Well, I've always said the hardest thing a motherfucker can do is look in the mirror.
Yes.
The only place you have room for judgment is.
That's why I don't like pretty people. Because all they see is, you know, I'm so cute. You know what I mean? And they live through that. Most of them. Some of them.
I'll be honest, I'm looking around the room, we're all pretty. None of us are like, butt to the wall ugly, though.
I don't know about that. Some days I wake up and I'm like, you look good, motherfucker. And then other days I'm like, you look like a troll doll. What happened?
But you got that going on. You got Cabbage Patch written all over you. Yeah, no, that's your sales point. What are you talking about? You don't avoid that. You own it. Yeah, I'm a Cabbage Patch.
Yeah, there's this comic that we shared the stage plenty of times, and if she goes up after me, she's like, if Nef don't get a haircut, he looks like a gargoyle. He's kind of cute, but kind of ugly at the same time. He has good days.
Cheech and Chong not only made it, but made it big and got laid regularly. Ain't no amount of ugly holding anybody
Oh no, I
back.
know that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
aware.
sure. You know.
In my head, there's this reference
Being
point.
being an
There's,
ugly dude.
there's
is
Tommy
okay.
Chong made it in this world. I'm
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay to be an ugly dude.
And had the prettiest daughter you ever seen.
Yeah, I had this homeboy in Chicago. He was bad. And I don't even judge
Disturbing.
guys like that.
Ugly Kid Joe bad.
But he was a pimp. I mean, almost literally.
Damn.
Gotta own it.
Yeah.
You gotta own it. So
Yeah.
like, what do you love?
Oh, comedy again.
Damn, he's all full of interesting answers.
It's all-
Comedy. No, I'm just kidding.
That's all I got. Man. I love difficult things. I love hard tasks.
Mm.
I like
You love something to solve.
Yeah. I have a sort of an engineer's mind. I could sort of put my mind in anything. Take me a while, but I'm pretty good at it.
Well, no, there was nothing in this basement when I moved in. All the walls, those are server racks.
Mm.
Those are when you deliver servers to like Chase Bank, because if you look, they'll say things like Chase Bank on them. This one
gotcha.
does somewhere.
Mhm.
But this was the big crates that were around them. And so I had access to the lumber and that I get. Yeah, it gives me something for my head to noodle on. that isn't, oh crap. It's just fun.
I tell you, I when I was a kid, I figured out that I could do anything if I like within reason. Obviously, I can't fly, but
Good like.
get laid. I
You were
don't
saying
know how
fly.
to do that. What the
Yeah,
hell?
okay, you can't fly. You can't. Okay, we're going through the list.
So I basically I had this idea in my head that I can do anything if I put my mind to it. That doesn't mean that
No, I
I'm not
believe that,
lazy as hell. Like I'm really lazy.
You're 19,
I don't like doing
bro.
stuff.
It's not.
But that's
I had to
that's
look at him
okay.
the other
It's-
day and go, "You're a 19-year-old shithead. It's not your fault."
It's if you keep in your mind that anything is possible, you probably do some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, mentally.
You can learn how to do anything.
Yeah, how you think about shit is really. I don't know if we tapped into that quite yet. I mean, maybe the Africans do. And people who don't have technology, they'd be floating, levitating, doing brain surgery
Well-
with sticks and leaves.
We got Anthem Republic, our buddy from Kenya. We were supposed to actually have him on last yesterday, but it was a rough day. Matt canceled. But it was a rough day. Matt canceled. That Anthem pointed that out. That I mean, and this is a guy that sings about bullets for breakfast. You know, by 3, I knew the difference between rubber bullets and real bullets.
Real bullets, mind you, none of his family was in the military.
It just you knew which ones you picked up.
Yeah.
They were what were all over the ground.
No way.
But this man points out, don't think of it as problems. What was it
He said, "Don't think of it as problems. Think of it as challenges."
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
and you're like, okay, I guess I probably ought to put that in my world. I didn't have any bullets for breakfast this morning. I'm like, looking at my world, go, okay, yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
That sounds like some tough guy shit to say too.
Oh, the weird thing is, you know, we'll hit you up with a video. No, it very much comes like a sad guy dealing with his real world. Talking about what the realities are in the ghettos in Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah. That actually, he and Ross are working on a song right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Different vibe than that. It's an amazing thing that one of the things we love is by chance and not by let's make this happen. Our fingers touch the entire world. That, you know, and we were talking earlier that, you know, he's got stuff getting produced in Nigeria. He's working with an artist in Kenya. He's got a piece coming out that was produced by a guy in Ukraine. We've got a young artist we work with in Bosnia. We've got
we doing a lot.
and that's like leaving off the U.S. North American part, which is the bigger part. That's
I
just
love talking to people and conversating with people and interacting. I love to interact with people. That's what I really
is that part of the lure of stand-up?
Oh yeah.
Is it that back and forth with the crowd?
Maybe not for me. So much, as much as a lot of other comics I meet, a lot of them are socially awkward. A lot of them want friends desperately, and so this is how they, you know, open up to society. You know,
Right?
I mean, you have pussy comics too, guys who just are trying to get laid too.
Is it good for that?
I can't see how.
It's not working for you.
That's not really what I want to do. Anyway.
Well, right now I got you.
I'm not. You know. Once I get that interaction out, I don't
There's
really
guilt
want
you
to
wanna
have
leave?
too much.
Oh, no, you meant the comedy. I thought there was an interaction. You were like, oh, and then regret, and then I leave.
Oh yeah, that too. That's another reason why I
It
don't
just
have
feels
frivolous
bad.
sex with
It just
people.
feels
because
bad. It's just
as soon
like,
as I'm done, I'm like, why did I do this? Like this, you have to leave.
you know you're in my act tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I'm past.
Is there a lot of that, though? Is that one of the... I did... You know what? I guess... Yeah. So you end up with comics that are on stage not to do comedy.
Yeah, they don't necessarily love the art as much. You know?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you got dick comics too. Pussy, females are.
Oh, absolutely.
The same way. And you got pussy dick comics. They like both. You know? There are those.
But anyways...
No, I find that in most industries, there's people that are in it for the fact that they're in it. Like, they're in it for the sake of being in it. So, doing comedy for the sake of doing comedy to make people laugh and stuff like that.
Imagine if you were
music.
doing music.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, it's certain people that just aren't in it for the music. They're in it for money or pussy or like whatever the case may be.
Like,
hair bands.
Famous.
It's hair bands.
Right.
It's hair bands. They just wanted to be... They weren't that great. Like, there was some really good music in the 80s and 90s, but a lot of it was hair bands just trying to get... Yeah, going after pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
That you could tell, though... I'm going to blow out Motley Crue here, because everybody loves Motley Crue. But Motley Crue has some decent stuff, but for the most part...
It's the same song.
It's just a wannabe band. It was... They wanted to be... They were getting out there. I'm going to go play the Sunset. I'm going to get some pussy.
Yeah.
I'm going to... You know what?
Yeah.
And then you look at somebody like Metallica. No, they were just angry with things to say.
Yeah, man.
And that's the
real.
range of comedy.
Yeah. And that's why I know Metallica songs, but not the other people you said.
Yeah.
The worst part was Ross came to me, and he had a heavy metal band that he said, "Oh, this is a good." And I was like,
I didn't say a heavy metal band.
I forget what you
said.
said.
I was talking about alternative rock. I wasn't even.
No, it was. Whatever the name of the band was, I immediately knew it as one of them. I need you to listen to this. I love music of all kinds, comedy of all kinds.
Me too.
It's my big thing is there blood on the page? No matter the art, if that dude is bleeding or that lady is bleeding, you will relate to it. If what they're doing is sloshing you out something quick, hitting it like. Comics that know that I can hit the F button and I know I'm going to get a nervous laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, I can push those buttons, but that's not comedy.
Yeah, no.
You know, but I could get through a set and make people laugh at something that's just really, I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. And then a lot of comics who are end up being true to the art and better than average start off with that shock shit.
Well, yeah.
Because you don't know what else to do.
Right.
Well, you got to find your voice.
Of course.
I mean, we talked about, so what we did, we were trying to figure out our voice. So in December we did a few, like, let's talk about it. We'll watch a movie and we'll do a watch through with it or whatever. Oh, God, it was miserable. Anyways, come January, we just plopped this in the middle of the day and said we had to do it. We did it 5 days a week. We did it every day. There were days you watched were miserable. There are days, more often than not, where Ross doesn't want to be here. But
that's the work.
We had to put in those miles. And then come May, we start the new series we're working on now and have kept going with the other. We dropped that down to 3 days a week. But that if we hadn't gotten up on this stage and worked out how to... One of the big things was you couldn't be in your head about what you were going to say.
Because if you are, then more often than not, I'm in my head about what I'm going to say. But if I'm sitting here thinking about what I'm going to say next, then I'm not in the moment and I'm not actually thinking about what's being said.
Sure.
And it takes you out of it so much that, like, you could see that he, like, sometimes you'll be trying to, like, talk to me and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what's going on.
You've gotten better, though. Now you say that. Now he says it, it'd be like, dude, I don't have a clue what the hell you're talking about. But that's brilliant. I can work off that.
Yeah. Similar to comedy. I'm not that. I don't know if I'm good enough yet to speak on that. But where the part of the journey I'm in now is where I get an audience, and I have a set about grief. I have a set about being a second-class citizen in America, but sometimes I'm good enough to push that whichever one of those down their throats and bring them to me.
Right.
But oftentimes I realize, oh, this crowd wants political shit. So all of the shit I thought I was gonna say is blown out the window. I gotta find out what gotta put your finger in there and find out.
Absolutely, you gotta meet them where they're at.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and then you can do what you want, maybe.
Right.
10 questions. That's literally, so the format is, give me an hour, I'll get in your head. After that, where we go, we'll make together.
Right. We'll figure that out together.
But by the time we get through this, we're like, oh yeah, where are we going? Both of us. It gets me into it too. It's not a one-sided thing, but it's because the whole point is I don't make somebody get out there without me or without Ross.
Right.
It's a room,
it's not,
as
it's
opposed
not
to
just,
it's a hey, by the way, now you're on the hot. That's the joke. That's why we tell people,
I find
the gauntlet.
Sometimes with interviews and stuff like that, I have a hard time watching them because I want to see the two people relate to each other. I would rather see people relate to each other than I would just watching a person asking somebody questions. Like that seems a little weird to me, you know?
It seems like it's set up.
Yeah.
It seems two-dimensional. That there's an ebb and a flow in real communication.
In real conversations. Yeah.
That I blame Howard Stern for how I look at radio. That if you let people see in the room, it's actually interesting. That if you see the real interactions with real human beings, people see themselves.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh wow, now I can relate to this. We talk about wanting to get out more content of us making music in studio because I think that's just as meaningful as the end song.
Yeah. And that's happening in comedy too. I think there's a wave of people wanting to see what happens out off stage.
The process. There's a process. I'm addicted to process. I could watch documentary after documentary about how musicians put together an album. I could or comedian. We spent 2 days on Andy Kaufman. Not 2 days. 2 hours on Andy Kaufman the other day. Just because Andy Kaufman. And you watch him work an entire crowd with nothing but a record player, and he's lip syncing. And you're just like, dude.
One of a kind.
Well, yeah. All of us. Bring your comedy. Bring your music. And as long as you're telling your story, there'll be people that'll know that story.
Yeah.
It's that we all try to push that Facebook life.
And that's so important. And I said one of my successes is about second-class citizenship. That's so important to me because, there's been this chasm between black and white since the inception of America.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
So you have people who just don't know or can't see me because they came from so far across the tracks. So, I think it's important that we merge.
Well,
as a separated society.
I like to think that our individuality is like our superpower, and instead of us all trying to push each other into a box, like the right box, the coolest thing about humans is none of us fit into that box. Nobody's one note.
Yeah.
Everybody's a symphony. and you're cutting people off with a note. What the fuck? You know what? There was something to be heard.
There was a whole story behind that you just cut off. What if we let Beethoven write one page and that was it? That was all he had.
Well, and it's been weird. We stumbled into it, but most of these we do like a phone interview on the radio. And I've come to the conclusion that one of the advantages has been people have a voice a lot of times. Don't get me wrong, I think these are great too, but I think it was meaningful early on that nobody knew what the people we were talking to looked like. So that as we were talking to my buddy in Australia, or our buddies in Africa, or our buddies in Europe, or our buddies down the street, that there was a diverse story that related across all of them, that all you had was the audio.
Nice.
Because I think the more we push our stories out, the more we tell our story, the more we'll find our story is everybody's story. Struggle is universal, not measurable. The second you get a ruler out to measure anything, people start pulling their dicks out. That's just the way rulers work. That, you know what hit me one day was I was watching the Dalai Lama, and dude asked him if he had the well. So now you've perfected this, right? You know, you got all this down, and do you have any suffering? Dalai Lama goes, yeah, this morning. He smiles, man. The Dalai Lama is gonna smile. And he's like, right here. I have a little bit of suffering, little sore throat. But that you never get to it. Look at Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
Sure.
Look at Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
So in our heads, when we think we had all the money, we'd be happy. If we were that friggin' pretty, we'd be happy.
Right. No way.
It ends up that don't solve that shit.
No.
It's gonna be shit either way.
It can go even worse sometimes.
Right.
Well, absolutely right. That
Some people become monsters. Some people were already monsters, and the money illuminates that. And then depending on how much money and how much monster, they're not. It's harder for them to clean that up, and they run into a brick wall and take people with them.
they get lost in it. That you can get so lost in the eye that you lose one, but don't fall. You know that's what we talk endlessly. Like I said about crews versus posses, dogs versus cats. People, you don't want to be surrounded by people that only say yes because you will do stupid shit that somebody should have told you that's stupid.
Sure.
What do you fear? You've been through some shit.
Yeah, I have been, and I guess my fear is dying without making it all worth the pain and the trauma. You know what I mean? I have to use this to help people.
I
I
can
resonate
relate
with
to
that. Wow.
100%. Like that.
You just bought the whole room, brother. Ooh.
I feel like I have to make sure that the pain that I went through, to some extent, I can help other people that are going through something similar, or even if it's completely unrelated to the shit that I went through. Like, if I can help somebody, that gives me purpose, and that gives me. Not being able to do that is something I'm really afraid of.
Yeah, we're here to be in servitude of others.
Yeah.
Right?
I believe
Much.
that. Yeah.
The time and again what I come across is, I joke about it being the selfish thing to do. You sleep better. If you're a good person, you sleep better.
Sure, oh yeah.
You know what? It feels good to help people.
And there's also those people who don't really know any better.
Right?
And so they're shitty and don't know it, and so they sleep good too. I can't stand it. It's funny though.
I think I'm of the belief, looking around at the anxiety levels and the general pharmacology of the population. No, man, I think we all feeling it.
Yeah.
I think even the ones that you think aren't feeling it. I think those assholes in high school that you thought were cool because they fit in were going home every night trying to figure out, oh fuck, what if I don't fit in? I think that over and over again, as much as we go, oh, your Facebook life looks good. That ain't life. That ain't life. I mean, I know guys with enough zeros in their bank account, they should put their effort into being happy. That's not even where their effort's at.
Right.
It's not even what they're thinking about. They got families, and that's not what they're thinking about.
Right.
It's not even that they're chasing more money.
Right.
You know, but we are all running in circles trying to make squares. And so there's this, the more I have these conversations, the more I find that, service.
Yeah.
People believe in that.
Yeah, I had a lady come to me after an open mic and was like, she's been to so many shows. I see her so much. I'm sure she's heard a lot of what I've talked about or what I've.
Right? She's been around. She's heard a couple things.
And she was like, you guys go through so much, and you talk about it on stage, but you don't understand how much people that listen to you have gone through also. You know, and that was an indicator to me that, like, oh shit, like, somebody can actually identify with my trauma. That's crazy, because I've not met anybody who has buried as many people as I have at young ages. People who look like me too, you know what I mean?
No, I know, I get it.
Like,
I get it as much as I can, if that makes sense.
Sure.
That's the reality. That it's the rooms we were talking about. It's that when you step into a room where people are allowed to talk about what they're going through, the thing that moves you the most in that room of 10 or 12 people is that you hear yourself.
Well, shoot, we had a moment in here where we realized on air that all three of us had lost our fathers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just realizing that and being able to...
That we were sitting with Nate
being
Jameson, and it was
comfortable-
like, oh, wow.
being comfortable enough to reveal some information like that, and
Mhm.
being comfortable enough to actually, like, go into it a little bit. You don't
Yeah,
gotta...
I hate that. I call it. I'm building a set about platitude because we don't really, you know what I'm saying. How you doing? How you doing? Nobody answered the question at all. You know
Where's
what I
the
mean?
line? That's why the first show is called Where's the Line? It's everybody's got all these fucking lines they don't talk about.
Yeah, man.
It's great, and they say something cute, and they bypass over
yeah.
it, and then they act all pissed off later because you didn't know the shit.
Yeah.
I feel so terrible when I go to ask somebody how are you doing, and I get a I'm doing good,
No,
and
you
I'm
don't.
like, no, come on, man, give me the real.
You gotta take one. Tell me your booty hole bitch.
Right?
We'll find out how to fix it and together. Let me see it.
Confucius said,
Yeah.
"Man who go to bed with itchy butt, wake up with stinky fingers."
One time,
But it's true. I don't trust anybody that claims it's all perfect.
no.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue. See why I don't trust politicians?
Oh God.
They are pushed into a world where they're not supposed to admit anything. How can I trust you?
Yeah. And how do they all have the same opinion about all the things?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't even.
I don't think kids are that cute. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You have a friend that has a baby and they come over, hey, look at my ears, a little ugly motherfucker. Yeah.
Some kids are ugly.
I feel like most people that look at debates and stuff like that look at the conversation and they're like, see, well, I agree with that, but also I agree with that, but
Yeah.
also he's talking bull.
Yeah.
He's talking bull.
Yeah.
Let me wait a second.
Yeah.
They're
Too much
okay.
salesmanship.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's really just to keep us separated, because that's how it's always worked. You know what I mean?
I believe globally, no matter the political system, it is all about coming up with a system that makes the people think
They have
that
power.
they have some input.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just different
Different,
varieties of how to pass that lie over. Because if you look around, no matter the political claims, there's big money running it.
Money.
You go to China, and the top of the tier of the party is rich dudes.
Yeah.
Go to the United States, and what was the thing you were telling me? Like, if the average populace wants something to happen, there's about a 30% chance it'll happen.
If 0 people want something to happen, there's a 30% chance that it will still happen. If everyone in the country wants something to happen, there's a 30% chance that it will still happen.
But
like,
if a rich
it's a
dude wants
straight line,
something
but
to
if a
happen,
rich dude
it's
wants
about
something to happen,
95% chance of it happening.
It's
Like
probably
the
gonna
two
happen.
graphs were basically like, and then if the wealthy want it to happen, you could see, and the government does that.
Yeah.
And then you could see, and if the people want something to happen, oh no, probably not.
So if democracy is really inhabited by like these 75 billionaires,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much easier for them to run the whole world into oblivion. But if you know,
Invading
all of
Ukraine by Russia has been profitable for anybody holding on to stocks.
has it been
Well, if you moved into petroleum,
really? Is that what it's about this time?
Yeah,
well,
that's
What-
usually
how
how
much
what
it
much
was about last time?
That's
Wasn't it?
usually what it's about.
there's a lot of money in that part.
Yeah.
But it's beyond. It's also, you look at old money, and I think I'm of the belief that people think they're doing the right thing.
Most
That
people think
most
they're doing
people are in their head and have found a way to justify whatever they are
Oh, yeah,
doing
sure.
as the right thing.
But you gotta also think, like, if you got a Ross, if Ross's great grandfather was a slave owner and a billionaire back in those days,
Right.
which was probably making $100 million there,
Right.
and so you have been raised after generation in that type of wealth. You know how disconnected
You're
have
not
to be?
connected at all. It's, well, I have this. So when I look at the way we're divided right now, what do you call it, liberal, conservative, Democratic, Republican, I look at people disconnected from reality in, their white towers around universities. Liberals.
Sure.
Let us do right. they Michelle Pfeiffer the world. You know what? I'm sure I can go save those young black men.
Mm-hmm. She's not hot anymore. Go ahead.
But disconnected. Well, but she saved Coolio, so it matters. You know? Just saying. Coolio. I mean, Coolio's hard to work with. I've heard that.
The original Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
We did a show on Flavor
before Flavor
called Flavor, and most people don't realize he can play 15 instruments.
Really?
He's a musician.
Jesus.
That's his front. That's his mask that he puts on. Oh,
He's
right.
actually an introvert.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like talking to people like that.
I bet. Because people look at him like evil. I'm joking.
Well, but true.
Yeah, you got a point.
That whether it's ivory towers or, you know, bastions of libertarianism or whatever sides of this is, I don't think either end's in touch. I don't think Joe Biden has spent a lot of time working hard at making it happen for his family either. That, you know what? That you end up with the people even fighting over the power are still both sides totally unattached on some level to reality. That, you know, wherever you go, it's the people at the top are not adults. The people at the top are children. They're the self-centered people that could think of only themselves instead of trying to take care of their family and trying to keep moving and trying to, because that's what it takes to get there. We literally have a system to find the biggest asshole.
Yeah, man, we allowed Nancy Pelosi to just like be a extra super duper billionaire.
Yeah.
Well, check out
She
the
already
average
makes like
age.
$250,000 for what the
Yeah,
How's
they
that
don't-
happen
they
exactly? Let's talk about that math real
Why
quick.
did we let that
Why
happen?
would you spend $2 billion to get a $500,000 a year job? Now we're talking about president. But, you know, you feel me? Like, wait a minute. I bet there's... Why are all those people willing to put all that money behind that?
And we talking about cancel the police, defund the police. Like, you gotta defund the politics. Man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's more important
Police
than
are
defund
pawns.
the police. They're
Well,
just doing their jobs.
They are
man.
getting up in the morning going to work.
Yeah, but I would
Not to say there aren't...
There's some
Not to
shit.
say there aren't bad apples.
Yeah, there's some terrible.
layer deeper than that. I'm not saying that they're not bad. The bad ones are not bad. But I am saying that some of them come from these rural towns. They've never met a black person. They are as sheepish as anybody else. They've been led to believe that blacks are this and that.
Ooh,
and they
fear.
go police those
Fear.
areas. And yeah, they fucking fear for their life. You know what I mean? They think I'm Blade.
When I got here, I had to get used to the idea that I've lived around black people my entire life. And
Make me
I'm
bust
not
out the
used
IRS
to.
on
I'm
you,
not
Wesley.
used to living around. I'm not used to living around white people, so I had to get used to. Some of my jokes are pretty racist because of the fact that they were a joke to me, and I didn't realize. Okay, that's kind of effed up that you said that you just got everybody in a box like that.
Yeah, you got to be really artful on how you deliver. You know, the things that are the edgy shit is the hardest shit to write about.
Yeah.
You know? But it's the most rewarding, and especially also for you and I, the most necessary, because we are like victims in the race wars of America more than anybody else. You know?
Well, in my head, the best work I can do is in the DMZ. If everybody's shooting at me, I'm doing it right.
DMZ.
The demilitarized zone. It's the spot they put between two places that hate each other.
Yeah,
like there's one between North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah.
And that's the area where like the North Korean guy tries to run across and then his army shoots at him and then the other side's like, oh, let's get him over. Either way though, it's the part that everybody is no man's land. It's the spot where you're standing between everybody going, no, fuck this. And
that spot needs to grow.
Yeah. That's the meaningful part.
Yeah.
That's where we're actually talking about shit. So it's funny that I talk regularly about the idea that my goal,
and the only way that spot can grow to the point where it cures the North or South Korea problem is if they eat Kim Jong Un. You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody
They
got
gotta
that
come
much
together
appetite.
and
You
eat
seen how
Kim
big that
Jong-un.
dude is? Let alone, man,
They don't
that
got- they don't
haircut.
got a-
I thought he
big
was a
enough to
lesbian
cook
the
him.
first time I saw
I
him.
did too.
Yeah.
He looks like Chaz Bono. He looks. It's Chaz Bono. Oh my God. Is it? Because I haven't seen Chaz Bono since the whole surgery thing. Is it possible that what really happened?
They replaced Kim Jong with Chaz Bono.
No, the Kim Jong. So his dad dies. I don't remember Chaz after that. Chaz disappears. Suddenly, Chaz gets maybe some hair roots done black. I'm just saying. Have you ever seen? I think Kim Jong has like a sister that looks exactly like him too.
Really?
Identical twins. Like not. There used to be a bit on SNL called Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the whole. And everybody trying to figure out what gender, and and always would come up with an answer that was, I don't think so. And then his dad showed up, and his dad was named Chris.
His
Her
parent
da-
or
the-
something.
they
didn't say
a
dad.
parent shows up.
Yeah.
Oh
A
my!
parent shows up.
Oh, don't worry, my parents are coming.
I feel like I had to play mom and dad.
Yeah, that's what literally
That's
what
what she said.
That's how they avoid it. The
Yeah.
person comes in and goes, "So were you mom or were you more mom or dad?" Oh, I really had to play mom and dad. And you're like,
All
oh.
of that old SNL shit is good. I love watching that.
You know what?
That old shit.
The reality is, the more I can operate in a place where I can talk about stuff. Like, because one of the things that hit me, so when I was in Thailand, it was the realization that racism was just as bad there,
Yeah.
but different. It was
They have
about
guns. Yeah.
China and Thailand. Money versus not money.
Yeah.
And light versus dark.
Sure.
So in other words, if you worked out in the rice fields, your families were darker. If you moved there from China, we're talking hundreds of years ago, you had gold money and you owned the businesses and you didn't go out in the sun as much. Or that a person in Thailand can immediately point out a person from Laotia based on going, they claim, this is not actually true, but to see your finger, your nose dips in enough that you can get a finger between, oh, Kun Lao! Kun Lao! You know, that humans are racists.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That
Can you imagine the first white caveman seeing a black woman? Which translates into what the fuck?
Well,
right.
so we automatically, because of fight or flight, define things by risk. So, evolutionarily, your village versus another village. And then here's the best part. We're all descended from assholes. All of us. Because the asshole is the one that wouldn't share his food. You cannot tell me one of us is descended from the dude that was giving his food away. His ass died. He died.
He didn't have enough food.
The reason we try to elect top asshole is because asshole is who we are. And until we go, hey, this is who we are, we can't change it.
Right, you gotta admit the problem.
I always go, I want to start a thing called War on Racism. And war against racism. There it is. We are racists against racism. So that we accept that we see differences.
Sure.
And we actually get over it. Because personally for me, I don't want to lose any more perspectives. I think the more that we can go, oh no, I need every perspective, stop fighting over who has what perspective. You know, I can't see like some guy that died in Uganda. I can't, or Rwanda. Uganda? Anyways, Rwanda.
Wow.
But
I
the
knew
point
it.
being, you want to what? That the more ways I can see it, I think of it as the greatest asset we waste. That globally, the thing we throw away is the looking at it different. That looking at it different is the most powerful tool we as a species have.
Sure, yeah, that's the difference between us and animals. You know. Animals only see things sort of one way. You know what I mean? They don't even recognize themselves in the mirror, right?
Well,
They don't know they're naked, at least.
Come into my world and you'll never believe that stuff again. I talk to mine.
For real?
Yeah, no.
He'll like
They're
tell the
evolving
cat.
faster than we are.
He'll tell the
gotcha.
cat. He'll tell the cat to like do something, and the cat will do it. And my mind is blown every time he does it.
That's because he's like so unplugged, though.
Yeah.
Well, I read a
everybody
thing.
can't do it.
I read a thing that said every cat and dog had about the same vocabulary as a 2 or 3-year-old. Now, obviously, they can't vocalize it, but that's what they understand.
Yeah. They just don't have the throats to speak.
And I've been around toddlers, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've had conversations with toddlers, so I just started talking to them in full sentences and with complete, and then
I had a girlfriend that had a fucked up mouth like a dog, though, and she talked pretty well. She talked too much, actually. She had
That was the problem.
later on off the air, I'll tell you how you keep a lady like that quiet. But anyway,
She had a mouth like a knife set.
well, did you know that cats don't meow at each other?
They don't do it to each other. I don't like that.
That's them. No, cats attempting to speak. That's all that is.
So when they meow,
Oh,
they're
they do
trying
it
to
to
talk
us.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't meow at each other. They only meow to us because that's their
I could've
attempt at
gone without knowing
vocalization.
that now. Shit.
The cats speak
That's
in
what
different
freaked me out.
accents depending on what country they're in.
I'm gonna be high and see a cat and it's gonna meow and I'm gonna leave.
Well, I realize the depth and the pain that every cat must be going through on the theory that all they've all perfected to say is, me, ow, me, ow. And we laugh and we tickle them. We're like, no, you don't understand, me, ow.
Now I think cats are probably reincarnated people who are assholes in human life.
Probably. What if all humans are just reincarnated assholes that were assholes in the previous life? Where's that line drawn? I've run into some real big assholes. What? So, you know what? So, obviously, I think I've learned some things along the way. I really am not overly attached. I'm more the I don't give a fuck, I don't know. The more I don't know, the more I learn every day.
Yeah.
The less I'm attached to, the less I'm... Screw it. I don't know what's going to happen next. That's what's gotten us this far. What do you think you know? What have you learned along the way?
Oh God. I've learned a lot, man. I've been so many. I've done so much. Survived so much shit. I'm writing a lot about. Like sometimes I sit and try to write down, try to chronicle the lessons that I carry. And it's also, I know them so well that I don't really. I live by them, but I don't articulate them as much as I probably should. The one that comes to mind though is that people. And back to what we were saying, it's like when people feel heard. When you have listened to people effectively, you can really like bring the wall down between you, and then you might find that person is a piece of shit, and you don't want to be friends with them at all.
But you'll at least
But you'll at least know who they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. And people who don't reciprocate that listening mechanism that we should have with me, I don't deal with it. I don't deal with those people at all.
I think that's meaningful.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is not only opening people up, but listening to people. They'll tell you who they are.
Yeah. If you listen really effectively to a person, it's dangerous because you sort of get infected by that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom had to teach me. I'm not even making this up. My mom's done that Reiki massage stuff where you do the energy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
As far as she's trained, and she was a massage therapist and all that.
That explains some things.
And I've been playing with energy since I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
I just was hanging around with some new agey people.
Mm-hmm.
She said you got to be careful because if you're too far out, then I don't have control of it. I'm so far that way that what's going on over there has control of me.
Yeah.
And she said in massage, you got to learn to keep your energy like here, because when you're working on people, if they're in a bad place, it will fuck you up. And I have gotten fucked up. I mean, I have seriously gotten fucked up with people in my space where I haven't had enough control over where I was at anymore. I don't try and define it sciencey or energy or new agey. I always go, I don't believe in magic. I believe in things we don't understand yet, or that we don't have an answer for, because history kind of gives that to us. That 500 years from now we're going to look like fucking idiots. Well, you're right. You know what? I'm telling you, they're going to look back on chemo and it's going to be the old drilling holes through heads 500 years ago. They're going to be like, so they would poison the hell out of people and see which died first? Yep, that's what we did. But it's the best we got right now. It's not, it's coming to terms with the idea that 500 years from now, you're a fucking idiot. So what you think you know, stick with stuff like you're saying, is meaningful. Because it's not about, I know this. It's about, hey, when you actually spend time with a person, you can see them and get to know them in a real way. That won't change in 500 years.
Sure, yeah.
That'll still be, that's rock.
Yeah.
That's now you're a foundation.
Yeah.
Foundation isn't, I know everything there is to know about science. Fuck you. History tells me that's not true. History tells me we always think we know. A
And
lie.
then somebody else comes along with, I know a little bit better. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Evolution.
And then somebody else comes along, and then that guy looks like a fucking idiot.
Well, what do you wish you knew? What do you hope you'll figure out? G-spot? It's come hither. Come hither. Anyways.
That's wild.
It's one of those questions that, you know what? God.
I mean, comedy and my kid are the loss of my kid. The memory of my kid are the maybe most rudimentary pieces of my consciousness today.
Gotcha.
But I know I don't want to say I hope I wish I knew about what's on the other side for her or for me, because I'm going to find out. That's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody getting out alive.
And then I don't know. I don't want to wish that I knew how to solve the puzzle that I'm trying to solve in my life, because that's what I'm doing. It's about the journey. I'll get there too.
Yeah.
You know.
I got you.
I wish I knew if Tupac was alive.
You know he is.
He is. He's chilling.
Him and Jim Morrison. Those are the only two I buy into.
And Joe Biden. I don't know if he's alive.
It's alive! Technically, he's not called Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was the doctor, so he's still Joe Biden.
And my idea of heaven is finding out things that I wish I knew. Like, I wish, like, you know, if the afterlife is eternal, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't want to really be on the streets of gold just kicking.
Primarily Scrabble, I believe, and what's that one where you push the thing that old people play? That there's a shuffleboard. Shuffleboard. There it is. Yep.
But my idea of heaven is to traverse the earth when dinosaurs were alive. To see, I would like to know what that was like.
I would love to look at all the experiences.
I would love to be like
The Watcher.
The Watcher for like through Malcolm X's life. I wanted to see how he lived.
Yeah.
You know, like the things you don't know behind closed doors. I would like to see that. Go back in time.
You know what? It's funny. We've talked about Malcolm and Martin a bunch.
Yeah.
Because, like, so it hit me first with the Dalai Lama that if China doesn't get kicked Tibet out, you don't end up with this big following for compassion and meditation, and forget whether Buddhism spreads. Because in my head, that's not really the part that matters. It makes the Buddhists really pissed at me, for the record. DMZ, but that it pushes compassion out into the world. And it becomes a more noticeable movement. You look at, there was a guy named, I'll mention Thich Nhat Hanh again, who was in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. He comes over and spends time with Martin Luther. Then you look at Malcolm and his journey. And you look at all of the hardship and war and deaths. And do we know those messages as well without those things that we know are bad?
Do we hear the words of Malcolm if he doesn't die? Do we
Oh,
listen to him?
yeah.
You hear it, but does it?
I've had that conversation before.
Right.
Those guys had to die.
If they stay around long enough to be assholes.
Yeah. Because, you know.
If they stay around long enough to become Jesse.
Right. You know what I mean?
You know?
Who's also, you know, I talked about pussy comics. Jesse Jackson was a pussy politician. And that's why he's not Malcolm.
He literally covered himself in the blood to go out and be on TV. Yeah, it's literally like, Jesse, come on, bro. But I will say this: if you ever see him read Dr. Seuss, there is a Saturday Night Live where Jesse Jackson. He went on. I can't even do it, man. I haven't listened to Jesse Jackson enough years to be able to do a good Jesse Jackson. But he goes on and he reads Green Eggs and Ham in full black minister Jesse Jackson.
No way.
Oh my God, it's brilliant. I mean, it is. And all it is a straight reading of Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham.
I would have loved to see what the slaves' lives were like.
Yeah.
In this gym, like when it was bad, you know.
Yeah.
How they navigated through that emotionally.
I would have loved to see my family members' lives.
In Ghana?
Well, Guyana.
Guyana. Yeah, sorry.
It's a
wrong continent.
It's
Ghana's next door. That's
man.
another guy. We got a show we may do someday. Ghana, Guyana, Guyana. Because it gets confusing. All three of us are from.
They always, my family members always make references to like where they grew up and how they grew up and stuff like that. And I just wish that I could like see that and like actually see what was going on in their lives, that they have this certain perspective on life and stuff like that.
I want to go see the family pre-revolution.
Okay.
So my grandfather looks into who all was here. You know, he got big into that before he went. He was an Iowa farm kid. When he gets down the road of who we really are, and he suddenly stops and goes a different direction. He didn't know how to deal with the fact we were Jewish. Straight up. That it didn't even make sense to me. Years later, there was a point in his 70s where he said something about how pure we were, which really freaked me out, because he was the dude that had taught me. He was a colonel in the Corps of Engineers, and he never judged anybody by any of that. Told me, like, that was not, taught me right. And then he came off with this crazy, and I was like, and it wasn't till later. So there was a well-to-do Jewish family in New York, the Hayses, Hays. So it appears to be the direct line, no E, but suddenly he's dealing with over here. I'd like to know what that was like. I'd like, because they didn't, what's notable when you look it up is it was unusual that they were accepted. And I don't know where I haven't gone back further. I don't know where they're from originally. And then, I mean, if I go the other route that he went, pretty soon I'm on a Viking ship and we're just raping and pillaging, which is cool too, don't get me wrong, good rapers and pillagers. But I've wanted to know the United States before any of us got here.
Oh, yeah. I'm interested in that too.
That
there were probably black people here. They probably had ships, just like anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Well, that actually the way, so Kontiki, I'm probably getting it wrong, that they prove that it was African boats that came across to South America that looked like they shouldn't make it.
They used to talk about some of the gods and stuff like that, and like some of the statues that the Native Americans had looked like Africans.
Yeah.
Like, and it's to say that maybe they crossed paths and stuff like that.
So does the Queen of England's like third grandmother too, though. So for those of you that don't know, the Queen of England is biracial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to talk about it, but it's true.
Doesn't leave this room.
Doesn't leave this. Well, no, it came up. There were some documentaries when what's her name? The cute chick that he married, that was biracial. Yeah. So, but then there were some documentaries that came up, but nobody's telling the truth about the English royal family. You know what? Why are you guys making... They were making a deal about this chick joining their family, and it's like, hello?
So you have dishonesty even in our history.
Exactly. So, we watched a thing, it was John Leguizamo, who, in the world of funny and character actor, and did stand-up, amazing guy, but he does what's it?
Latin American History for Dummies or something.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and he's dead on through it. He does it up, and he takes on all the characters, plays it all out. But when you realize, no, I'd like to know what I would love to know the Americas before.
Yeah. When I went to the pyramids in Guatemala, and those scribes were undoubtedly Chinese faces. They didn't look Hispanic.
People got around more. Well, you have the land bridge up at Russia, Alaska, kind of Siberia, Alaska thing that was there at one point. They've proven that people crossed by boat. Suddenly you're like, no, wait a minute, people got around.
Yeah, man.
People got around.
But people when money came into play, it was like, let's change the history. So same thing in the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When they had that cult down there, he ripped shit out of books.
Well, Jesus Papoose.
What's his name?
Jesus Papoose.
I don't know.
It's baby Jesus.
It's baby Jesus.
Oh.
So the Mormons have, and then there was Christ was here somehow in Native America, and I'm like, oh, see, what would you call Jesus on the back of an Indian lady. That would be Jesus Papoose, because obviously we're going to be down in southwest the United States. It's going to be Jesus, not Jesus. I've run into a lot of Jesuses. And then Papoose is the little baby on the back of an Indian lady.
In my world, Papoose is a rapper from New York. So I thought you were like making a God MC reference.
There you go. God MC. Well, you're right. Everybody kind of changes the story. I mean, to the point that our globes are wrong.
And they're still doing it with the trying to cancel critical race theory.
It's constant fear.
In Texas, the teachers are trying to petition the Board of Education to change the word slavery to involuntary relocation.
Yeah, that's retarded. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, what?
That's not.
When
that's
are we
not
going
how
to
that
admit
works.
that humans are bad and all of our ancestors at some point owned people?
And it's okay. You know, I'm not
Yes.
trying to take your fucking Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
But,
not trying.
like, let's just.
Fuck a mule, where's my Tesla? I'd like one of those ugly ass trucks. It looks rather mulish.
You know what I mean?
Well, but it's true. How do we talk about history if we're not actually talking about it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like you gotta separate. People gotta separate who they are from their history, because who I am as a person, yes, my history plays a role in that.
Oh, sure.
But
It brought me here.
who I am now is a different person than who my ancestors were and stuff like that.
Sure, and the
Like,
same as for
them
anybody
and
else.
Yeah, for anybody else, it's the same thing where you gotta look at. Your
I think
history
I should
for
get a
what it
pass
was.
because my guys fought on the right side of the Civil War. I think that it's kind of a funny thing though. As a white dude, you're like, wait a minute, man, but we had the right side of this. We consistently. I don't know whether or not anybody owned anybody. I don't know of any records of anybody owning anybody. I'm not saying it. I guarantee somebody owns somebody.
Sure, but we don't need. What we need to do is to come together and take down the oligarch. It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily.
there
I'm
you
not
go.
trying to take your
So,
shit.
The funniest thing is, at the moment Occupy Wall Street happens, at the moment you are literally looking at New York City and seeing people of all colors, of all backgrounds, going, enough is enough. We're done with this shit.
Yeah, and if we don't,
They push the white. That all of a sudden, that's when Trayvon Martin gets pushed on the news.
of course, because the oligarchs own the media.
I don't want to automatically assume. I don't want to look at anybody and go, that makes somebody suffering less. But I'm looking around saying, Sun Tzu said, it's the dude, Art of War. The easiest way to control people is to divide them.
No, my mom.
Point them at each other.
That's how the pyramid scheme of America works.
It does.
The
Yeah,
funniest
absolutely.
part is my mom and my grandmother weren't even scared of me going outside and doing stuff with other people until the Trayvon Martin thing happened. Like it's crazy. It's crazy because when I really go back and think
24-hour
about it,
news.
it took like and I saw it and I remember seeing it and I was like, okay.
Same thing happened to me.
Alright.
It took. I was boxing at the time, so a lot of times I would run at night. And when Trayvon Martin happened, it took my mom like back to slavery. She called me like, "Don't you be out there running, boy, in them streets."
Right.
But
Like,
they've done that to the little white kids, too. Here's
How
what's
so?
crazy. No, everybody hides inside now. 24-hour news. What if somebody comes, takes you? What if you're on the street?
Right.
We live in the suburbs. You will not see that many kids playing out front.
yeah, sure.
Ours are the rarity because I get out of my damn house.
It's actually it's almost anybody who doesn't have a video game console now. So.
Well, my point is that, yeah, everybody's living in fear.
Yeah.
And then the buttons get pushed more come every election. More fear, more fear.
Hey, and fear is what kept slaves in the slave houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm saying is, we don't eat the
They're
rich.
not pushing a new button. It's the same,
It's the same
button.
shit. And
The same button over
but
and
it's
over
grown.
again. Mhm.
And for 10 years we've been saying the middle class is disappearing, right? So it's like if we don't eat the rich, all people, whites included, is gonna be niggas too. It's gonna be we all gonna be niggas. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not allowed to say it, but I've had the thought. For the record, I wanted just to drop a new song, still, but it like different color, different color.
Yeah.
I totally love that rap, but I've always said no. I think there's a next level where you have.
You have to realize that we don't mean shit to them.
There's an ad out right now with Oprah Winfrey. Drops him crazy every time it comes on. So they start off with the number one way you can tell how long you're going to live is your zip code.
That's crazy.
And then immediately after they say, all of this just because of your race. And I'm like, no, it means that how long you're going to live is due to your zip code. It has nothing to do with...
It doesn't matter which color you are, born in that zip code. You are
that zip code, you're fucked.
It's
Exactly.
gonna be classism.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why are you here?
Yeah.
At this podcast?
That's totally up to you, brother. It's a Rorschach test of questions.
Oh, I am here because God gave me an astounding resilience to get through shit that I shouldn't have been able to get through, and now my objective is to articulate that to crowds of comedic audiences in a way that it's funny, but then they go home and be like, wait, he was saying this actually.
Right.
You know what I mean? And hopefully that will solve this problem that we just talked about recently. I mean, help solve that problem.
No, that's how we change the world.
Yeah.
Everybody like goes.
Do my part.
That when I go, I want to change the world. They're like, well, you can't. You got to change yourself. You can't change the world. I'm like, I get that.
That's
Well,
the
you
point.
change yourself first.
You change yourself first.
Well, and then I consistently am out there and connecting, and out there
You
and
gotta reach out.
connected.
to the world.
I think I'm uncovering the connections that are already there. We're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
That in the end, smallest cell in the universe is still universe, because universe means all things.
Sure.
We're in this together. You're universe, brother. I'm universe. He's universe. There's no point in this. When we see each other, we see ourselves. And when we see ourselves in each other, we give more value to not only them, but to ourselves. Because we quit beating ourselves up for being human.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that most of the hammering we do is not somebody out there. Man, I know I bring the hammer and I know I hit myself.
Yeah.
That it's...
Just like in comedy, you don't want to get on stage and start shitting on the front row without shitting on yourself first. You know what I mean?
Right.
True.
And then there's...
If Gallagher taught us anything.
And then there's greats like oh god, Don Rickles, who didn't really shit on himself before he shat on everybody else, but you just knew it was coming from a good place.
But it was where it came from. Oh, absolutely.
And you left that place not taking yourself as seriously. You know?
We're Norm Macdonald fans. I could watch Norm Macdonald all day long, and he can do stuff where he's hitting you. He can do stuff where he's hitting himself. He can do stuff where he's reading a bad old dad joke out of a damn book.
Mm-hmm.
But that you know it's coming from a good place is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Nef, we've gone long. We're at an hour and a half. You were here an hour before we started. Usually about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
I'd do 3 more right now. You know what? Let's figure out how your Fridays are going and stuff, and also figure out, we want to do this more, and we want to talk more about comedy.
Yeah.
I'm interested in, I don't know if you want to put up bits or if you just want to roll, whether we want to, because what we do with musicians is we play pieces.
Mm-hmm.
If there's some stand-up you want to go, I'll play this,
Sure.
I get that, but if you just want to riff, if you just want to come in and talk about the realities of, I don't even know what to call it anymore. This universal shit we always end up talking about in this place, man.
Any of the above, bro.
I'm filled with... God, I love you guys.
He's a softie.
You know what? Yeah, again, soon and on many levels, and...
Yeah, I opened for Tony Wood.
Oh, yeah, no, give us... Sorry, I always forget this part.
You got anything you want to plug or anything you want to
I
say?
don't know when this comes out. Is this live? I don't know.
It's live, but then we'll put it up. You can just plug whatever you want.
August 27th, I'm in Springfield opening for Tony Woods, and it's probably the most important gig I've ever been. And
Okay.
after that, I probably will come back a new man.
827 Springfield, right?
Yeah, at the Clark Theater, Springfield, Ohio. It's 7 o'clock and a 9:30 show. Yeah.
So that's Friday, isn't it? No, that's Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
You know,
I got
what's the age on that club? Is it all ages?
I'm pretty sure you gotta be 21. There's alcohol there.
I'm like 2 years off.
If you really want to come, I can put you on the list.
Get you.
We might come out.
That
That
would
would be
come
cool.
out.
We might
Yeah.
come out. Just I would just love to. It's close enough that
Yeah.
I'd love to come. Like, I just want to support you, bro.
I can get you guys a handshake with Tony Woods. He's man,
I love your energy.
dude. He was Chappelle's mentor in DC.
Oh.
That guy is some other shit in terms of comics who are alive
I've heard
today.
the name. I've heard the name
Right?
Tony Wood.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like us. He's very unplugged. He don't really give a shit
Right.
about a whole lot of shit. He's not Hollywood at all.
That's what's meaningful. People spend so much time not. Goddamn. Anyways.
I was about to say anything. When we start talking again.
Oh man. Oh dude.
That's pretty much all I got coming up. I got a little itsy bitsy bullshit, but that one's important. It's actually in the 3-year anniversary of me doing comedy.
Oh really?
Shoot me a